was just gonna say I'm opening the Wikipedia page for The Curse of Ham just in case.
Not gonna say what I said.
We'll be getting to it later.
Well, I mean, I guess that is like it's not my belief.
No, of course it's not.
It is a belief out there, unfortunately.
It is a curse, though.
Yeah,
and we're going to learn from the movie we're about to discuss that it is a direct result of inceldom.
Yes.
I now believe that Noah put the curse of Ham on Canaan because Ham was an incel, even though Canaan was his son. There's a lot we got to unpack here.
Yeah.
There's a lot we got to unpack
movie.
here. It's a very dense movie. There's so much going on.
Although I'm happy to say, as a father, I wanted us to do this for Father's Day. I did not remember how good this really was for Father's Day. This was
it was a great
I'm
pick.
Patting myself on the back over here.
As you should. Happy Father's Day, Scott.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day.
We're a little early here on the day this comes out.
To all our fathers who listen too.
Yes, all of our fathers who listen.
No, just me.
We got you.
Father.
We got you a podcast for Father's Day, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes, and we are back. It's Boys Bible Study. On this Father's Day special, we are going to be discussing one of the first fathers there ever was in the record, in the biblical record, that is. And that's Noah. But as usual, I'm Ash, here with my co-hosts.
Scott, a proud father.
And Julian, soon to be father. Maybe.
Congratulations.
Maybe.
We'll see. I never know. There's always, who knows? There could be something to brewing somewhere out there. I really wouldn't know. It's none of my business.
Cat father. You never know where, you throw something in the trash. You never know where that ends up.
Yeah, that's very true. The cat father. You come to me on this, the day of my daughter's spaying. Well, hey, today we're watching a movie. We amongst ourselves have discussed doing this one for ages, and it fits into a lot of things. It's a perfect Father's Day movie. It's also a great addition to our trend recently of doing like mainstream Hollywood released movies from various decades. I think most of the reason we were doing that recently was because of depictions of angels. Actually, I mean, we get some pretty cool depictions of angels in this movie too.
Yeah, they were cool.
Yeah, they were really cool. But this is a Hollywood art house film by acclaimed contemporary director Darren Aronofsky. Quick, favorite Aronofsky movie?
I guess Black Swan. I don't really like any of them, to be honest.
What?
Yeah, he's frustrating for me. Black Swan's my favorite. This one might be my favorite.
This one was good. But
I still haven't seen Mother.
This one also represented a lot of what I dislike about him.
My favorite is Pie. I think The Wrestler is
very
good as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Wrestler's good. I think that might be my favorite. Either Wrestler or Black Swan.
I think this one's pretty great too. It's my top
If only
3.
those cinematic universes were combined.
Yeah.
She could have been throwing down on stage.
Yeah. I feel like he, at this point, is like, and no offense, Scott, because I feel like you just expressed you like him.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he is like a stupid person's idea of what an art house film is. Which, I loved this movie until it turned into like a generic action movie with like them throwing like one-liners at each other while they fought. And I was just like, that's pretty much sums it up. Like, this is like a bizarre movie. It is a good, strange movie, but it's still like, I feel like he still can't resist the like turning it into like a mainstream Hollywood film, which is how I even felt about like Mother, which is like probably his most avant-garde movie.
I did not like Mother at all.
I hated Mother so much. And I had to sit across a random stranger in the movie theater I sat near was like laughing his ass off every time she got called the C word or like punched in the face. And it was made for an extremely uncomfortable viewing experience.
Going to the theater is really a minefield these days. I haven't seen the movie. A friend of the show, remain nameless, has a mother poster in his apartment. Our friend group is divided on this film.
Really?
Very polarizing.
I know who it is.
Yes.
And I was also
I feel like I know who it is. But
surprised when I heard that from
who is it?
this
It's
person.
Grimy Ghost.
who
This is
we
not
dare
embarrassing
name.
to tell. I just wasn't going to call them
You
out.
wouldn't care.
Yeah, it's a friend of the pod. Grimy Ghost is a big mother fan.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he's a gay guy, so we're always saying mother.
That's true.
Maybe it's just positive associations. Again, haven't seen the film. I'm very curious about it. I
might
would
like it. It's interesting.
I might like it.
Yeah.
Aronofsky is one of those directors who almost all of his movies are a little bit frustrating for me.
Yeah.
And I would say definitely Black Swan is this one. Black Swan. Black Swan is my favorite. This one is just subject matter that I love.
Yeah.
But I think Black Swan had the least like frustrating. That was like I enjoyed that all the way through.
Yeah. I did love The Wrestler. I'm not going to lie.
I haven't
and
seen
that's
it.
like his least arty one.
good.
I mean, The Whale. I also think like the most recent one I saw was The Whale, and that was fucking. Oh my god,
It looks so bad.
I can't wait to see that. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing. I just want to say, it's a good thing that guy wasn't alive in Noah's time because.
Yes, Jonah.
Oh yeah, if he did the Jonah movie, we could cross it over with the whale. Sorry, what did you say, Scott?
I said Requiem for a Dream is a very silly revisit. Like when I saw it in theaters as a teenager, I was like, shit. And then the second time I was watching it, I was like, this is like wildly heavy-handed.
Yeah, I saw it when I was in high school, and it was probably like the first like fucked up movie I ever saw, and I was like blown away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember barely anything about it other than some random campy details, but my guess is that I would not find it to be a coherent piece nowadays. But like, at the time it was like I had never seen anything like that in a movie before.
Our friend and theme song creator Mary co-directed a remake of Requiem for a Dream.
Yes,
fantastic. I love it.
I've
so
only
funny.
seen part of that. I've never seen the actual movie.
Oh, you gotta watch all of it.
I need to rewatch it. But yeah, I can't remember if she has that like publicly available right now. If so, I'll link it. But yeah, I would say it improves on the original. She really tied, she clears some things up. She ties up some loose ends. But very cool piece. But yeah, this is Noah. I feel like this movie is worth discussion in the context of our show for many reasons, not just because, it's a biblical adaptation. It tells the story of how Hollywood interacts with the biblical adaptation. I would argue that the movie we've watched that's the most similar to this movie is The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
I found this movie to be a better movie than Passion of the Christ. I enjoyed it a lot more. I found it to be more coherent, even though it wasn't without its flaws. But I thought that the way it like took a Bible story, realized it into life, and made it gritty and epic while still like keeping supernatural fantasy elements was very compelling. And I think that maybe just because of the type of the part of the Bible, like I think that perspective works a lot better for Old Testament stories that more are like myths, like ancient myths. Like the story of Noah is like, an ancient myth for white people, basically.
Yeah.
But like, the story, doing that with the story of Jesus.
Well, the people who
is
came
so
up
wacky.
with the story of Noah weren't white.
No, they weren't. I'm talking about nowadays. I'm talking about the people who have like
the people
a
who
picture,
casted this movie.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the Sunday school classes with like a picture of like a white man putting sheep in a boat, and that's like the understanding of Noah.
Yeah.
Right.
But I feel like Mel Gibson doing that for the story of Jesus is just like wacky. Because that's like a legend as well, but it just feels so. We know so much more about the people involved from the story.
We're too close to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's too soon.
Yeah.
It's too soon, Mel.
This is a couple thousand years earlier. So,
But you know what? I will say it's not too soon now. And that's why he's making Passion of the Christ too.
yes.
It's finally, we're ready.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
Also, a lot of this movie was drawn from, I think, the Book of Enoch, which is like non-canonical and has all the crazy shit about the angels coming to Earth and
damn,
like
I wish I read that.
sleeping with humans and
I have
a
to
lot
read
of
Book
the
of
more
Enoch
fantastical.
already.
Yeah, a lot of the more fantastical things in this movie are from the Book of
Oh,
Enoch.
that's so cool. I'm glad you mentioned
Which
it.
is-
I haven't read it. I have a
which is not considered an actual part of the Bible, which I don't
Right.
really understand how they make the they're like, it's like whatever one they're like, this one's slightly more believable than this
No,
one.
for
so
real.
it goes into the
Mhm.
Bible. Like why the Dead Sea Scrolls are not part of the Bible.
right. They're like non-canonical.
yeah.
There's like the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which is in like the Apocrypha. I have a book that's the Apocrypha. I tried to sit down and read it. Would you believe it's kind of boring, even if you like reading the Bible? But
That's why
That's
they took it
interesting.
out. Too
Yeah.
yeah,
boring.
they were like, y'all move this along. But meanwhile, they kept all the fucking and so begot so and so.
Yeah.
You know, they kept all that in.
Well, that's, the page turner.
Yeah, right.
Stuff.
Yeah.
That's just like talking to your average cinephile, though. Like, oh, and so's in it, and so's in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, is the story good? Does anything happen?
oh, God, no, please.
Because I think the story of Noah is only like a couple sentences in the Bible.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
it's longer than that. It's like, I mean, it's not long, but it's like a couple chapters.
Yeah, but a chapter in the Bible can be like two
pretty short.
sentences.
I get what Julian's saying because every time I do find myself going back to any Bible story, I'm always blown away by how it's like 8 verses.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on the version you're reading.
Right. But I think Noah definitely gets a couple chapters because he is one of the
Right.
foundational. And there's
Book
like
of Genesis chapters 5 through 9.
right. So 4 chapters, which is not, if you look at compared to the size of the Bible, is like not a huge amount. But
Yeah.
like there's entire famous Jesus stories that are only 1 chapter and he's 4. So I
Yeah.
guess it's like, depends on your definition of short. But
Yeah.
But I think what's unique about Noah is like there's stories of him from like before the flood, after the flood, and we get a sense of, his family line is, he one of the other first family lines because like everyone was killed and his family remained. So we're all descendants of his, I
Yeah,
suppose.
you're right, Scott. It is longer than I remember, but it is also you wouldn't think that you'd be able to fill a 2-hour movie.
No, it's like, yeah,
Which
it's
is why
only
they
like
had
3
to draw
chapters.
from.
It's crazy.
They
No,
draw from the AV and the
AVE.
manga and the
for
Yeah.
they had to draw from all kinds of different stuff.
that's all right.
Yeah.
This is more of a celebration of Noah, like the franchise, than it is the actual story.
Yeah. Well, that's probably true. And for how impactful it is to I don't know, school curriculums today, you would think it would be like a whole book.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what that
What is
reminds
that?
me of? Remember that Jehovah's Witness movie we watched? I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one with the kid who's the hip hop producer.
Right. With they had the dirt.
Yeah, with the bag
Yeah.
of dirt.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that movie where they're doing like homeschool and their project for the day is they go to a field and measure how long Noah's Ark was.
I remember that.
And they're just like,
Oh,
wow,
right.
it was big.
Now you're gonna be in your kid's gonna be in public school and the history teacher's gonna be sick and the substitute's just gonna come in and put on Noah.
Yeah. Yeah. So-
Man, little wonder that the kid's trying to become a hip hop producer. Like, what else is he gonna do in the real world?
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wait, I just imagined he becomes a hip hop producer, but he only samples Arky Arky, the famous Sunday school song about Noah. If anybody wants to do that, you got to give me royalties on that because that's a really good idea. And you clearly got it from me. Random Genesis chapter 7, verse 6. Noah was 600 years old when the floodwaters came.
Yeah. Old as
Wow.
shit. He looked good though.
He looked good.
He wore sunscreen. Drank water.
Clearly, and he drank water. He drank a lot of water.
Yeah.
He was hydrated.
Lots of semen retention. He was fit at 600.
Yeah, I'm on year 350 of NoFap. Honestly, his son Ham was on severe NoFap.
Poor
I worry
Ham.
for the kid. I
love that his whole arc is that like he's horny and his dad killed the girl he likes.
That's crazy.
Which I don't think is in the.
It's absolutely not in the Bible. No,
Might be in the Book of Enoch. We don't know.
It might be.
Yeah.
I did not think to read
Nor
that
is
before this,
Noah
but-
getting into a fist fight with his rival on the ark while it sinks.
No, I don't
But we
think
might be
so.
getting out ahead of ourselves.
No, we're good.
Yeah, so I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe like the reason why people are so old in the Bible, and unfortunately, I don't think it's because they're drinking the special water.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
But
I learned about this. Go on.
But it's actually because Noah as a character being 600 years old is like supposed to be actually his like lineage.
Oh.
Like it's like a family name basically that's like passed down.
Yeah.
But because they these stories get rewritten a million times. They basically just say it's one person.
So it's like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
Like they just call him Franken, but it's the the Frankenstein family line that's been passed.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
that's like historical context for that is a lot of times, especially in the Old Testament, when people are like Methuselah being like 4,000 years old is
Yeah.
actually basically just like Methuselah's family in generation after generation.
Interesting.
And it all just gets really conflicted.
The Methuselahs.
The
Yeah.
Methuselahs. To the moon, Methuselah.
Yeah, now that you say that, it does sound
Methuselah sitcom.
it does sound more like a last name when you say that. Not as much of a first name. Methuselah.
Well, let's try to talk our way through this movie. There's a lot there, though. Very dense. The movie begins with I thought a really beautiful stylized retelling of the creation of the world.
Yeah.
Noah will retell this story later when they're on the ark and they're very bored because their cellular service was down. But, in the beginning, there was nothing. Temptation led to sin. They use really dope, like shadow puppet stylized effects to show the sin of Cain killing Abel.
This stuff looked really cool. Was this before or after The Fountain? Another Darren Aronofsky
I think
movie.
I
didn't even
after.
know about that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like The Fountain, but he had to like really push through to get that to be finished.
Yeah, I felt like he took what he did in The Fountain and actually did it good in these sequences. But once again, not a fan of that movie. I also watched it when I had mono, so that might have had something to do with it.
Not a good mono movie.
Yeah.
I thought that the beginning was very stylized. I also, and forgive me if this is in the real Bible, I didn't know that Cain and Abel had a brother called Seth. And in the film Noah, they talk about how Seth, the descendants of Seth, ended up being the humans on Earth that could communicate with the so-called Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
Who are introduced very early on in the movie. They are these giant stone creatures that we find out are like crystallized fallen angels who have come to Earth. And this is one of the first like high fantasy elements of Noah. And I had a moment of recognition watching this movie because, fun fact, I saw something that looked like one of these creatures when I was on Salvia.
Wow.
So I'm inclined to believe that the depiction of them in this movie is accurate because I do believe that the one time I did Salvia, it's not like I saw it in front of me, but I perceived in my mind's eye this creature that I thought was like a windmill, and it was like big and like black and made of stone.
Yeah.
And I thought it was from a book I read, and I tried to find the book, but I realized I couldn't. And I think I made it up.
The book was the Bible.
But then I watched this. Yeah, the book is the Bible. Then I watched this movie and I was like, oh, well, Darren, he understands. he's tapped into ancient shadows.
Yeah, I mean, is it a coincidence that is it a God incidence that Noah basically does ayahuasca in this movie and sees the end of the world?
That's so true. Yeah, there's a very interesting scene in this movie where Methuselah surprise doses Noah with psychedelics and then says, "The medicine always tastes bitter," which is like so gay. And this allows him to unlock the additional details of the command from God of why he's supposed to build the ark.
Methuselah, who is Noah's grandfather, yes, in this, and played by Anthony Hopkins.
Okay, did anybody else think the guy who played Noah's dad was Russell Crowe at first?
Yeah,
I got really confused.
Yes.
I started the movie and then I watched it again. I restarted it to watch with friends. And the first time I was watching it, I was so confused because I thought Noah was the dad. Like, I totally missed that his fucking dad died and that was a different actor.
It happened to me too. Yeah, I literally just I didn't even think about it until later.
Yeah.
I was just I literally was just oh, it's Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's Noah.
I just assumed Russell Crowe was playing his father too.
That's what I thought. That's why I was so confused and I was like, that's an interesting choice, but why?
Yeah.
Anyways, just a guy who looks like him.
Good casting.
So, listener,
Great
when you watch
casting.
this movie, don't be alarmed.
Don't be alarmed.
You
You
see
are
a
not
guy
crazy.
who looks like Russell Crowe at the start, playing Russell Crowe's dad.
It is not all in your head. Well,
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins looked crazy in this.
he did.
He's carrying on about berries like Ronald Reagan and Reagan about jelly beans.
That's such. He's like, you can tell what kind of person someone is with the types of berries they eat.
He loves a fresh berry.
He eats the berry and then gets taken away by the flood. Is so
That was so crazy.
Did the flood have to hit him that hard?
yeah.
Pretty good physical comedy.
He was pretty mentally sharp for being 6,000 years old by the time he
I know.
died. They
Nowadays-
were finally like, oh, your grandpa is starting to lose it. He's like, we should, should people be allowed to keep their driver's license when they're in their
I was gonna say-
5,000s?
Nowadays, we would run him for president.
Yeah.
That's right.
Frankly, we'd be like, oh, it's a 5,000. He's got a term left in him.
What if it found out similar to the pancreatic cancer or prostate cancer that Joe Biden has? What if it dropped that he was actually 3,000 years old? How would that change things?
A historian proves that Corn Pop was a man he met in 1645, and it's proven conclusively that Biden is beyond form and time.
He actually has an incredible memory.
He does. He's honestly, it's amazing. It's all just context, from my notes, only the descendants of Seth protect creation. There's this mysterious substance contained within the earth that has magical properties. It is like gold, but it glitters in a supernatural way.
Yeah.
And it is called Zohar.
That was so cool.
This led me to propose an alt title for the movie, Noah, you don't mess with the Zohar.
That's good.
Thank you.
Zohar is sick.
Yeah, where's that from?
That I
That's
have
not in
no
the Bible.
idea. I have no idea, but it's
Book
something
of
to do with
Enoch?
Kabbalah.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, when you search Zohar, the Wikipedia that shows up is something to do with the Kabbalah, which in the article about Seth, according to some people, Adam gave Seth the secret knowledge of Kabbalah before Adam died.
Sure.
Zohar, the magical rock, I have never heard of before.
So Hunter
but it
Biden
was-
trying to get his hands on that.
yeah. But that was sick. It made me feel like I was watching Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like the bread in Lord of the Rings that the elves give them so that they can like nibble on and never be hungry, just so they'd never have to stop for food at any point in the story.
Yeah. I thought the storytelling was pretty classy in this movie. They didn't like over explain stuff. They just like showed them interacting with the substance. And they seemed to use it like it powered like the magical core of these giants, but they could also use it like to set small fires if they wanted a campfire or something like that. So it was just like a part of their world and they didn't really explain it.
So Zohar apparently is made up for the movie.
Okay. Well, Zohar is like a Hebrew word.
Yeah.
It's got to be because when I Google
Zohar
it,
in this context is made up for the movie.
I see. Okay, wait. From a blogger website called Jewish Math, Magic, and Mysticism, there's an article from 2014 called Zohar, Gem of Light, Light of Heaven. Oh, it's talking about Aronofsky's Noah. There is a word in the book of Genesis, according to this possibly insane blogger. There is a Hebrew word, Zohar, that appears in the original Hebrew. God instructs Noah to illuminate the light by Zohar, which literally means like brightness or glittering or noon light.
Yeah.
So I guess it might be something there with regards to Jewish like magical tradition, but no one.
So according to this Slate article about how accurate is Noah, which
How
is really
accurate?
funny to be like, how accurate is the story from the Bible?
Yeah.
It's a movie based on a story from the Bible. I think it seems like people think that the Zohar rock is some sort of like symbolic reference to the Kabbalah, which I guess he also referenced heavily in Pi. Can you corroborate this?
Can you speak on that?
They reference a lot of stuff in Pi. It is very much about biblical magic. It's like looking at the Bible. I was very impacted by that movie, not because it looked cool and had a good score, but that helped. But there's like a lot of details about the Bible representing things in ways that I hadn't considered before. So I guess I'm carrying on to say that no, I cannot corroborate, because they talk about a lot of different stuff that was all new to me and Bible adjacent and just different ways of looking at the Bible.
Cool. It's like House of Leaves.
You got to
The
turn the
original
Bible,
House of Leaves.
turn the Bible upside down.
Yeah.
Fucking read
Because
all sorts of ways.
Pi, they do like Bible code where like the like original Torah is all like a big math thing. And so like each letter is like a number basically.
That's a Kabbalah thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was in, I won't say the name of the country, but it's in the Middle East.
I won't say what kind of country it was.
Yeah.
It was a Jewish country.
It was a Jewish country. And I had to go to this thing in this like mountain town where we had to sit through like a guy showing off his like Kabbalah art. And it was like paintings like you would buy at the mall where they had like hidden numbers and shit in them. But it was like so obvious when you looked at them. And me and my friend on the trip were like told to leave because we were laughing at everything he was saying. And it was like really disrupting.
Birthright sounds whack as
It's
fuck.
fucking so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about it before on the show, but every like new detail I hear, I'm like, well, that sounds whack.
Yeah, it's similar to Scientology, which we've also covered. It is a thing. It is a thing that preys on the very mentally and socially weak and strained people to get them to go to this country.
Oh,
Yes.
Surprise! I know, very surprising. Right?
Yeah.
I don't really think this is a spoiler. It's but since we're talking about Birthright, the movie ends like the very end is Noah passing on his birthright, and just seeing it presented that way, it was like, so it's just words.
Yeah,
it's like you just like wrapped a fruit by the foot wrapper around your arm, and then said some words. And that's what
that was the skin. That was the skin from the snake.
I know.
It was the skin
But
from
it
the
looked
snake.
like a
But-
fruit by the foot wrapper.
It really did.
What?
Yeah.
What is that thing
Used condom.
where Jewish people wrap like the cord around themselves?
I don't know, but I did that when I was at the Wailing Wall. There's a really funny picture of me somewhere.
I'm
with that
googling
wrapped
Jewish
around.
cord. Tefillin.
It's
Yeah.
yes. It's very
It
strange.
makes your
It's like
prayers work
Jewish.
stronger.
Yeah. It's like
Yes, it
Jewish
does.
bondage. And there's like a little
Yeah.
hat on top.
Wow.
It's really funny.
Tefillin are worn by male adult Jews during weekday and Sunday morning prayers. I don't know. In Orthodox communities, I imagine.
Cuckoo.
We did cat's cradle.
Oh yeah,
at
look
my
at this head
church.
Tefillin. Well, the giants know Methuselah. There's this like action sequence. There's tension between Noah and his family, and also like the basically every other single person on Earth who is
Yeah.
about to get washed away in a flood that they
There's
don't
like
know about.
200 people on Earth at this point.
Yeah. So God was like, "You guys are cool. Stay home tomorrow."
Yeah.
And they
But-
befriend the rock monsters.
Yes.
The rock biter.
monster.
Yeah.
And
The rock monsters were awesome.
yeah, they
I
Oh,
were
really
sick.
sick.
liked them. Yeah. The part where Methuselah was like fighting alongside them and put the sword in the ground and burned everybody. That was awesome.
Oh, that was fire. Yeah.
yeah.
I liked when one of the rock monsters dies in the final confrontation. And I wrote down in my notes, he looks toward the heaven and says, "My creator, forgive me." And then he gets taken to heaven and his like angel soul leaves the.
They reminded me of Zumbinis.
Absolutely.
I don't know why. There are rock creatures in Zumbinis, right?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
Very much.
The Watchers.
What are zumbinis?
Watchers. They're the ones that you have to make them the pizza.
Oh, that's why.
I think so.
Yeah.
Zumbinis is a CD-ROM computer game that was made for kids in the 2000s.
Yeah,
and
the logical journey of the Zumbinis.
I find myself referencing it like every other day, but
yeah.
it's not actually that culturally significant, but it is to me and
Yeah.
to other people as well. But it's not like a
I feel like there was like a specific year where that was like on every computer at school.
yes, exactly.
And then like if you're anywhere outside of that like 1 to 2 year window, you've never experienced it.
100%. Yeah, it was like
That's funny.
if your school had a computer class in the year 2004, then
Yeah.
like or whatever, maybe earlier than that, then you've
Yeah.
played it. But if not, then no. But the rock monsters, they trust Noah's family because they know Methuselah.
Yes. He
Who-
saved them for some reason.
Yeah, no one really knows. Well, I mean humans can kill the rock monsters. They're not like invincible.
Yeah. But it seemed like it was a big surprise when they finally killed the rock monster.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're skipping ahead.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You all know the story. of Noah.
Yeah.
You know, the rock
the story
monsters.
of Noah.
Yeah. I guess it was cool. I feel like I really, really enjoyed this movie up until they got onto the boat because it was like they had the rock monsters, you had the evil kingdom of whoever, the guy from Sexy Beast was the villain.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what else was cool? When they were bringing all the animals in.
That was awesome.
And they
Yeah.
like put them to sleep when the bird fell asleep. That was so cute.
That was so cute. I liked when all the snakes came.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool. I wrote in my
Yeah.
notes, "The snakes come too. Yay."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Because they were like, "Papa, the snakes are coming." And then all the snakes load up and they all like go to sleep. Oh, that is so fun.
Yeah, it's definitely the best looking arc in my mind from any type of presentation I've seen. Because most of the time
Yeah.
it's like it just looks like they're like, what's the biggest looking thing we can make that you can make a plastic toy of to put in your child's bathtub?
Right.
And this looked like that he really thought about what that would possibly look like, to how that would
Yes.
function, what that would look like.
Well, this is like done. The actual design of the ark is like how it's described in the Bible.
Yeah.
Like
I
a big rectangle cube.
Mm.
Mhm.
Well, I just think this movie it was a really good job of adding to the lore that like the giants helped Noah build the ark.
Yeah.
'Cause that's one thing that is kind of hard to grasp. It's like the pyramids. It's like, how did they actually do it? Like we think we know, but it's still like an impossible task.
Rock monsters.
But if there were the rock monsters, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was cool when the rock monster like picked up a tree and just like jacked it off, and all the branches fell off, and then it was just like a perfect stump.
Yeah.
He did the trash humpers thing where he like picked up a stick and like pretended to jack off with it, and then it was like ready to be used in an ark. So that made it easy.
Yeah.
He was able to get done in like, I don't know, 100 years instead of like
some watcher day laborers.
Some contractors.
Yeah. It was nice of the watchers to help him out, because ultimately, as we find out, the plan is for, if we're ready to speak on this.
Yeah, speak on it.
This movie has a very strong environmentalist message.
Yes.
And Noah's mission from God is for him to work with the watchers to get all of God's creation onto the boat. And then once all of mankind, except for Noah's family, is wiped out, then they will live on the boat until they can get back to land and basically not procreate, and they will all like die of old age or whatever.
Or so Noah thinks.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
like
what he thinks.
himself.
That's his plan. That's what he thinks God's plan for them is.
Yes.
And so the plan is to basically just wipe out all of humanity from Earth and preserve all of the creatures.
Right. Yeah,
Because we have failed in our mission to protect them. As I believe, because Noah and his family are vegetarians.
Yes.
And a lot of mankind's sin is seen through like large cities slaughtering animals and killing each other for their meat.
Yes, you are exactly right. And so this confused me with all the references to like they depicted a lot of meat eating as evil. And there's the line from Noah in the movie of like, well, they think that they need to eat meat to get strong. We know that you get strong only through the creator. And I was like, what is with this fucking movie? Genesis chapter 9, verse 4. This is God's covenant with Noah. Now, actually, this is in the Bible. This is after the ark. But he says, but you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting, and every animal, blah, blah, blah. Whoever sheds human blood, by human shall blood be slit, blah, blah, blah. It's just saying like he's putting sort of pre-kosher rules forth about not eating like raw meat or eating certain types of meat that's unclean.
Yeah.
And also saying that like meat eating requires like sacrifice. But yeah, I think that this movie took it really in that direction. It was like, it felt like a PETA movie.
Yeah.
It was like a pro-vegetarian movie. It showed like disgusting humans like eating meat, and it was like they're fighting over meat, and like aren't they such savages? You know? It was pretty funny.
Yeah, and when his
Not
arch
wrong.
enemy Tubal Cain, who has snuck onto the ark, eats that. What does he eat? It's one of the animals. Like
He eats an animal that's now extinct.
Yeah.
yes,
Because-
yes.
He's like, hey, can you give me when you come back here, Ham, can you give me a unicorn? Or...
Yeah, I've been craving unicorn now. We don't have those. Wonder why that is.
Mhm.
Wonder why that is.
And then Ham, Noah's son. It's like he just looked so shocked when he saw Tubal Cain eating it, and was like, "What? Who cares?"
Yeah.
Yes. Ham. Let's speak on Ham. It's like kind of jumping ahead, but he's one of the most interesting parts of the movie for me. In that moment, first of all, I want to say Tubal Cain better than one Balkan. Just gonna say that. Ham at that point in the movie when Tubal Cain sneaks onto the ark and Ham is like, shocked watching him eat. It was like the depiction of like the incel watching like the Nietzschean podcaster who tells him like, you have to, I mean, there's actually Tubal Cain, he's giving all these like self-oriented. Like, I don't know what kind of philosophy that is, like libertarianism or just like the idea of like that the self is the most important thing and like you have to drive for personal success and like God is absent. So you need to seize the day. You know, Ham feels very, I guess, cucked in his life because like he has to be totally obedient to his father, who's like not letting him like find a girlfriend and blah, blah, blah.
And his brother has a girlfriend.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very unfair to Ham. So there's this moment, and this is like pre-current discourse on like, you know, liberals trying to like get young men back into the fold and blah, blah, blah. This is pre that discourse.
Yeah.
But there's still like this huge dynamic in the movie about like this young man and like which direction will he turn because he feels alienated by society. Very interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that stuff there too, just because it's so prevalent throughout culture now.
I know. It's like a huge cultural conversation now.
You build an ark and then find Andrew Tate on it.
Andrew Tate fucking
That's probably
burrowed in the
only
wall.
Yeah. I mean, international waters is about to be the only place that guy can go soon.
That's a good point. Better find an ark to burrow into.
Yeah.
But then his younger son is just like the pure chosen one.
Right. Well, he still looks, I guess, prepubescent.
Yeah.
He's only 150 at that point in the movie, so his two balls haven't dropped yet.
What do you think the like what is that called, the age gap?
Problematic age gap.
Yeah, what was the problematic age gap back then?
None.
It was like
400,
y'all,
500 years.
If you're 200 and your girlfriend is 100, you got to go to jail.
Yeah. They say the brain doesn't stop maturing until you're 450 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny how they kind of just forgot that he had two other kids. Like, really, they might as well have just not had his older son and his younger son in the movie.
Yeah.
Even though
Pretty
like
much.
the older son had a pivotal role. It was like him and Emma Watson. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Emma Watson.
Yeah.
Her
But really,
being
her
pregnant with
character
twins.
her character was much more important than his older son, her husband.
Yes. And they were all just bad actors. Like
Well,
his whole
yes.
family outside of like a couple of them, I guess.
I thought Russell
mean,
Crowe
it might
was
as-
good as Noah, though.
Yeah, he was good. I thought Jennifer Connelly was pretty good.
She was good, but she was giving me that fucking horrible Jesus and Mary Magdalene movie we
Yes.
watched.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
I think 'cause she's too pretty for this. It's
Yeah.
fun. They're like casting way too beautiful people for a time when like
Oh, yeah.
people look
Yeah.
like hobbits.
Yeah.
and like when Emma Watson was giving birth, I was like, you don't even look like you've been on the ark, let alone giving
Yeah.
birth right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, he part of the so once we get on the ark, they start sort of freestyling. I feel like I don't know if the whole thing about Noah having twin grandchildren and like threatening to kill them is in the book of or the story of Noah
I don't know.
or anything, but that becomes sort of the main plot is his master plan to kill the entire family is revealed, and I guess to let the family die out. He basically says that if he has a grandson, he can live, but he must not procreate. But if he has a granddaughter, then he will have to kill her.
Yeah.
Which they don't really talk about
Immediately.
incest in this movie, but that is a pretty huge part of the Bible, especially at this time. So we know what's up. And and the worst thing happens. They have twins.
And twins.
So that's happening alongside Tubal Khan being on the boat.
Yeah.
Threatening to fuck everything up. This is where I was like, this is becoming like an action movie.
Very much
when
so.
she was having the kids at the same time that he's like fighting Tubal Khan.
Yeah.
with like a straight up like sword fight in the ark
Right.
while it's sinking.
And they've been at sea for like 60 days.
Yeah.
It's like floating in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
never mind that there's 1 gazillion animals on this boat.
Hey, they're asleep.
Yeah, they were sleeping.
They were sleeping. Yeah, well, the movie confronts the fact. I mean, when you hear these Bible stories, I mean, at any age really, but it just glosses over the fact that, like, okay, so there was this one family, and they went to the ark, and then when they came out, they repopulated the whole earth.
Yeah.
Like, how? I mean, that happened with Adam and Eve, but then we're restarting the line.
Yeah.
So there obviously has to, like, for that to continue, there has to be like severe incest happening at the top, because, like, what are they supposed to do? I mean, like, honestly, in the movie, because I also can't remember if them having twin daughters is part of the Bible or not. I could look it up, but who cares? But when they had twins, I was like, oh, okay, this is like a wife for Ham and like a wife for Japheth, and like that's why God made that happen.
Mhm.
And now all the sons have wives, but like the movie doesn't go that far in confronting it because that's distasteful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By our modern standards. But then, like, Ham fucking goes his own way at the end, so who
Yep.
cares?
Mhm.
It was very
It's
stupid.
like, I don't belong here. I'm just
I'm
gonna
a
wander
freak.
off
I'm a
into-
weirdo. I'm a creep. I'm a
Yeah.
weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? Etc. And
He wanders off.
but this anxiety, the anxiety of not being able to, as they put it in this movie, have a family,
Yeah.
or like be fully a man, which is obviously like, just code for like being able to fulfill my sexual desires.
Yeah.
That literally takes up like half of the movie, is Ham's sexual desires and frustrations.
Yeah.
He tries to jork it while watching his brother and wife make out in the woods, and they get mad at him, tell him to go away. To which Emma Watson says, like, but he doesn't have anybody, meaning just like, let him watch. Come on.
That was
Yeah.
And
so weird.
yeah. And then, Ham goes into the evil village to try to get a wife, and he
Yeah.
finds an e-girl
He does.
Yeah.
in a ditch. And he finds an
E-girl
e-girl,
stuck
a
in
goth
ditch.
e-girl in a damn bitch you live like this situation, and tries to rescue her out.
And I
But she
couldn't,
gets caught.
since I hadn't seen this movie since it came out in theaters, I was like, wait, does she come with him? Is that what happens? Like, I thought it was believable that she might make
Yeah,
the
I
cut
thought she
for the
would.
arc.
Yeah. Nah, she gets trampled in the stampede of people running for the ark
Right.
when the flood starts.
Yeah.
Which is like, y'all had all this time you could been building your own boats.
Yeah. Well, it's like the first crypto wave, like
Yeah.
it was just too late. Like, you're never going to recapture that.
But I can relate, because when last year when they were saying there was going to be a hurricane here, remember that?
Like, no, but I trust you. I'm
You
sure
don't
they were
remember
talking
that?
about it. Not really.
People were like freaking out and
boarding of windows and stuff.
not that far, but I knew people who were like filling their bathtubs with water because they were like,
Oh.
and it like rained a lot in the desert, but it was like 4 hours away.
I see. I like barely remember this, but go on.
Yeah, and it was that EIT show was going to be that night, and they canceled it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, part of me was like, I should probably get some supplies just in case, even though I really don't think this is going to be that bad.
Right.
But then I was like, my upstairs neighbor, who shall remain nameless, I know he's going to be fucking doomsday prepping all week. So I will just go up there if something happens.
Yeah.
Tubal Khan style.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's what life is all about.
Sliding in the dark.
Yeah. You work
Eat his
smart,
animals.
not hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's human instinct to be like, it's not really going to be that bad.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that.
You want to hope for the
I would
best.
want to do that.
Also, so Noah's like what, 600? Like when somebody clears like, I don't know, 80, you're like, I don't know if I should trust what you're saying or not.
Exactly.
Like for the most part, let alone
When you're
600. Who knows how many crazy things Noah has said to them at this point?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When your 600-year-old neighbor starts building an ark, like, can you be blamed for not jumping on that? But again, we have to remember Noah heard the call.
Yeah.
He got a vision from God in his dream, and he had to interpret the vision. That call was, God didn't want everyone else to be prepared.
I do feel like, though, if I saw rock monsters working on his boat, I'd be like, okay, maybe there's something here.
Yeah, some shit is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna build a boat too.
I'm gonna enslave one of these rock monsters for myself.
Yeah. Make it build me a kayak.
It was funny how there was a little boat on the ark.
Yeah.
And they just
getaway
didn't
boat.
really what was the point of that other than to just have that scene where he like blows it up because they're going to escape?
Well, my immediate thought was, of course you need one of those. If you get anywhere near shore, how are you going to park this fucking thing?
True, yeah. It was just interesting. I don't know. The amount of stuff that they were able to like plan behind Noah's back when there were only like 6 people on a boat it was pretty incredible.
And they were surrounded by
so
sleeping
big.
animals.
Yeah. And they were like, had this big like farewell to the two of them, and then it's like fucking Noah shows up and they're like, how'd you know we were out here?
I was like, well,
because I looked around and there was no one here. And I know there's only 5 other people on this boat.
Yeah.
So I figured y'all were doing something.
Yeah, I thought y'all were up to something. Yeah. That whole scene was very goofy.
He just threw a Molotov cocktail. Oh, he threw the Zohar on it.
He threw the Zohar on the getaway boat, and everyone freaked out. And
he was so sure of himself.
Baby,
you will stay, and I will kill your child, my grandchild.
But remind he doesn't want to do that. He's just doing it because he has to. But he's being driven.
Could have fooled me.
I know. Yeah, he's being driven mad by his desire to do God's will, which is like ultimately his downfall. Yeah, and it was interesting kind of the way they depicted the message from God in this movie because like I mean, we know from watching the movie that God is not silent as some characters in the movie claim, like Tubal Khan. But he is nonverbal. He's nonverbal autistic.
Yeah.
And he communicates via images and dreams. And he didn't tell, Noah was interpreting the dream. And Methuselah was the one who made, what's her name? Ramiel. That's an NGE character. Pregnant, who made Emma Watson's character pregnant.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Methuselah, it was technically an action of man. He has magical powers.
That was fucking weird. I forgot about that.
He did.
Put his hand on her stomach, and when he was like,
blessed her.
Yeah, because he was like totally senile at that point. Seemed to be my take on it, and didn't really know what he was doing, so he just got her pregnant.
Well, yeah, because I mean, Jennifer Connelly, like she went to him and talked about how like I don't know what to do. Like the rest of my sons, they won't have families. Like I can't bear the thought of them dying alone. Noah thinks we're all meant to die on the ark, but is that true? And Methuselah is just like, well, bring me some berries and we'll see what I can do. And yeah, we see early on in the movie that Emma Watson has like a scar on her belly, and they're like about to have sex at one point, her and her like fiance, and she says like it hurts and blah blah blah, like she's wounded in some way, and it makes her barren and seemingly incapable of having sex. And then Methuselah puts his hand on her to bless her, and something happens, and then she immediately goes and fucks Shem.
Yeah,
She just rips his damn clothes off.
it's true.
So Methuselah did it.
Yeah,
Methuselah did it.
the OBGYN,
Mhm.
Dr. Methuselah.
Yes. Dead ringers, but with two Methuselahs.
Great Grandpa Methuselah.
Yeah, he was meddling. And then I guess maybe a theme of the movie at the end, when Noah sort of realizes that, because it's technically still Noah's decision. Like, God does technically leave it up to chance. Although I guess you could argue that, he is in command of what's in Noah's heart. But the movie ponders on basically how do we listen when God tells us to do something, and how much of it is in our own hands or in God's hands, and also how much of that is failure or success, because Methuselah was the one who made the pregnancy happen. Noah was the one who chose not to kill the babies when he said he was going to.
Yeah.
Because he saw them and he was full of love and he couldn't kill the babies. And that led to us podcasting right now.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be podcasting right now if he hadn't made that
I
decision.
think he made the wrong
That's
decision.
true.
I think he made the wrong decision. History has decided this is a massive L.
It led to podcasting. Way to go.
Yeah. So, at the end of the movie, Noah's all fucked up. He's drinking on the beach because he's depressed because he betrayed God.
Wasting away in Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said,
Doesn't know how good he has it.
Yeah.
he said, it's year 500 somewhere. Or alternate joke, it's the 7th day somewhere.
Yeah, it's funny how they found him
Yeah.
and they were just why did you run away? It was just, there's only five, there's only
five
six
people.
of you. You didn't ask him this when he was running away, or it just felt really bizarre.
And they did the story where they found him naked and drunk.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Ham didn't cover him up, and then his brothers did. And that's right. I tied it back to the curse of Ham. So let's talk about the curse of Ham. So the curse of Ham
Speak on that.
is I believe, Mormon belief based on biblical concepts. It was a curse which was imposed upon Ham's son Canaan by the patriarch Noah. It occurs in the context of Noah's drunkenness. I'm obviously reading Wikipedia. And it is provoked by a shameful act that was perpetrated by Noah's son Ham, who saw the nakedness of his father.
I have heard about this.
Yes. In later centuries, the narrative was interpreted by some Jews, Christians, and Muslims as an explanation for black skin, as well as a justification for enslavement of black people.
That is
And unfortunately,
crazy.
it's very crazy. And I believe I'm trying to look for the statistics about the Mormon church, because I believe that theory was only relatively, here it is, Latter-day Saint movement.
Yeah. Oklahoma, the Oklahoma school board is licking their lips as they write up the new lesson plans, looking at this Wikipedia article.
Here's some stats for you. In 1978, LDS Church President Spencer W. Kimball said that he received a revelation that extended the priesthood to all worthy male members of the church without regard to race or color. In 2013, the LDS Church denounced the curse of Ham explanation for the withholding of the priesthood from black Africans.
2013.
Took them a while. It took
Yeah.
them a while, but they got there.
They got
and,
there.
It's all you can ask of people.
So Noah obviously is not...
That's crazy.
The movie Noah itself is not directly saying this, but per the retelling in the movie Noah, the cause of black people on Earth was an incel who saw his father naked and then decided to leave.
Said, I've had enough of this family.
Yes.
I've been through a lot, but seeing my dad naked on the beach is a bridge too far. I'm out of here.
Now, these stories are obviously not compatible, but what I do think is interesting is considering the story of Yaqub,
Dr. Yaqub,
the figure in the mythology of the Nation of Islam. Not to be confused with the religion Islam. We're talking about the Nation of Islam, which is a religious group. In this doctrine, Yaqub was a black Meccan scientist who lived 66,000 years ago and created the white race. Following his discovery of the law of attraction and repulsion, he gathered followers and began the creation of the white race through a form of selective breeding known as grafting on the island of Patmos. And
that's so cool. That's so much cooler than
it's dope, dude. No, Nation of Islam is
grafting.
Awesome.
Is awesome.
These white people were destined to rule over black people for a period of 6,000 years through the practice of tricknology, which ended in 1914.
That's awesome.
And Yaqub is supposed to be a parallel to the biblical patriarch Jacob.
Oh, right.
In the Book of Genesis. But now, again, I don't think these two stories are compatible, but I love the Curse of Ham and also the story. Like, the Curse of Ham was responsible for black people, but Dr. Yaqub made white people.
That's so funny. Going to the island of Dr. Yaqub, and it's just like a bunch of like white guys in like khakis and button downs. Look at my creation.
Island of Dr. Yaqub. It's very funny to me. Well,
it's funny that like people just saw somebody who looked different from them, and they were just like, "Did a mad scientist create you?"
Or alternately,
just goes fucking wild.
Yeah.
Or alternately saw someone who looks different than them and be like, "That person was cursed."
Yeah, that person. See, that person's grandpa saw their dad naked.
Yeah,
and that's why they look like.
That's why they look like that.
Yeah, 5-year-old made it
which
up.
Is like at that time. Okay, the fashion in this movie was incredible. They had some pretty nice.
They were.
Then.
They were.
I'm like, people back then. You must have seen your parents naked all the time. They were wearing like fucking burlap sacks.
Right, but then after they got off the island, they were wearing like fucking men's casual.
He was
wear.
wearing like Noah was wearing like a 3-piece suit.
I know, it was crazy.
It did. It was very Mary Magdalene core. So this came out first. So I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if they were really into Noah. I wonder if they got any costume people from Noah in their movie.
Yeah. It did look a lot like that fashion line that Kanye West had.
They're all wearing Yeezy.
Yeah. Where it's just like baggy t-shirt.
Yeah, just earth tone baggy t-shirts that you had to like find in a pile on the floor.
Yeah.
So crazy.
How come they always do like they have it's like fits and is fitted, but it's sewn together as if they only had like washcloth sized pieces of fabric?
So insane.
It's like Frankenstein together, but like in a fitted way. It's like you just have like you had smaller pieces of cloth back then. Like, what are you implying?
It looked like they were about to start playing some folk punk music.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it really did. No, dude, costume people who do biblical things, even like art house high concept ones such as this or Passion of the Christ. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they just need to be stopped. Like, can someone, I'm begging you, think a little outside the box? You can still make it look like old timey, but like, can we just like, and I don't know the answer here, but like, can we just like do a little research? Like, I'm sorry, this does not, the fashion in Bible times did not look like LL Bean, but stitched together from washcloths.
No.
That's not what it looked like.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive back then, nor do I know what it actually did look like back then, but I'm telling you, it did not look like that.
Noah had a tri-corner hat, and he had
Yes, he did.
pantaloons, buckled shoes.
And he was wearing a t-shirt that said "Free Chorizo" with an arrow pointed down toward his crotch area. And it said Miami Beach.
Shall we rank this? Or
We should.
rate
Any final thoughts from the film before we give it the official Boys Bible Study rating?
Oh, you guys should see Pie.
I want to see it.
I see pie and I eat it.
Send up on the sea pie diet.
Yeah.
All right.
Methuselah gave Noah a seed from Eden. I thought that was neat. He had to plant the seed from Eden.
Yeah, that was cool. See, that stuff was fun. They should have just like kept doing more stories. Like, I don't know. I liked the presentation of the Bible stuff. It was gripping and exciting. And the stop motion, like the fake stop motion, like creation of the earth.
That was
Noah
dope.
was telling the story. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I agree. And then when it was just like Jennifer Connelly being like, Noah, I don't like you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, it really fell off the rails there at the end.
Wow.
But, you know, we can't have it all. And that's what this movie is about.
Nope. But at the end, God puts that very beautiful thing in the sky we know and love called the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The rainbow, as we know from the Bible, not the symbol of Pride Month, the symbol of God's covenant for all people as given to Noah that he would not destroy the earth ever again.
Yeah.
That's what it is, folks. Do not let the LGBT tell you otherwise. Do not let them.
All right. Yeah.
Let's rate the movie.
I'm going to give this, in honor of Pride Month, I'm going to give this 2 of every gender.
All right.
Out of 2 of every gender.
I don't know what you're going to do with the 2 asexuals on the ark.
Yeah, shit's about to get crazy. I'm going to have to stock up on that fucking smoke. We're having a Noah smoke party. I don't know.
I enjoyed Noah quite a bit. It was a good revisit. Noah made some insane decisions as a father. You also saw him watch his father get murdered before his eyes as a child, which I had not remembered. Exciting Father's Day moment. And I also forgot just what a huge role in the movie that the rock monsters played. And I'm going to give this 10 out of 10 rock monsters, which I kept imagining that like the rock biter in the Neverending Story was like from their lineage.
Ooh, yeah.
He was related. He descended from them.
Yeah, like maybe he brought 2 rock monsters on the ark. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were just 2 little pebbles.
Right. And then they grew.
Yeah.
And they grew. Well, as for me, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was better in basically every way from The Passion of the Christ. Not without flaws, but also perfect in every way. And I really liked it. And I liked all the snakes and all the animals. And I thought it was really cool. And gonna have to give this movie 1 out of 1 steaming handful of Zohar. Oh, we didn't start the fire.
The Zohar did.
The Zohar was burning. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, being that Julie and I have to leave soon to go to a run club meeting,
boo.
Yeah.
We would like to thank.
Good job.
We would like to thank. God, the stuff you have to do for fun as an adult is insane. It's horrible. You have to do a podcast and then go running. It's just horrible, horrible life. I hate my life.
Noah should have killed the twins. Why did you do this?
I hate being alive. I hate being alive. I hate being alive. I'm in so much pain.
You want to go to a run club one day, boy?
Yeah. He shows him a vision
right.
of Run Club and he decides not to take a wife. Anyway, he could have fucked his brother. Anyway, that's for another podcast.
And you don't have to pull out.
No, exactly. Come on. Nothing wrong with that. Just boys being boys. Anyway, I have to thank our generous listeners for being here. But if this is your first time here, why don't you go to boysbiblestudy.com. Check out our year's worth of free episodes. And when you like those and you want even more content, you want Boys Bible Study every single week, please visit patreon.com/Boys Bible Study. We will be fitting all the people who are subscribed there in our boat. They will be coming to the new world.
Yep.
Also, shout outs to our patron saints at the $20 tier. the patriarchs, Nicole, Marissa, Jeff, Mark, and Alex. Thank you for your generous support. Also, our outro music is Oh My God by Mary. So from all of us here at Post Bible Study, myself, Ash, my co-hosts, Scott and Julian, we would like to say, peace be with you.
And also with you. That was Rock Monster.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me.